Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. We're doing one of these team versus team videos. I decided to just do, so we have JIREN, and there's kind of a couple of different ways I could do this, right? Like we could do, you know, sometimes I've done like this year's release versus last year's release, but last year's release was CARNIVAL Omega Shenron, who, it's very tough to use him. I think like you could rock Omega Shenron on like Broly's team or something like that in the Kid Buu fight. The Kid Buu fight is where Omega can actually really help. Like legitimately, he can actually help in the Kid Buu fight. But it's very rare and tough to get like real value out of Omega Shenron because of the way they designed him, like idiots. So I figured it probably wouldn't be a very good video if we did a team versus team against with Omega Shenron. So I was like, we could just do the part 1. LR, which of course is TEQ UI Goku. So now the only thing is that UI Goku's team is pretty similar to what JIREN's is. I mean, well, at least Universe's Rival Saga. I certainly could have opened it up and we could have included like Gogeta and Beast on UI Goku's team, but I did want to kinda keep it like Tournament of Power-ish, which is sort of what I did, right? AGL UI Goku is on both teams, but for JIREN, you know, his side is more so geared towards like the Universe 11 characters and stuff like that. I was thinking about running Kefla, but the fights we're gonna do are very tough, and it's like I don't like Kefla is a real dodge or die character. I don't know. I just felt like, you know, rather than like run Kefla, like I would just run like AGL UI Goku on both teams. Like I feel like AGL UI on both teams is fine, right? Because I mean he's obviously, you know, the one that fights JIREN and stuff like that. So we have kind of like on the left side is the, you know, UI Goku team, which is kind of, you know, built around like Team Universe 7 and stuff like that. And then on the right side, we got kind of like not just like the main like UI Gokus and Evolution Blue Vegeta and stuff like that. You know, that's kind of like how we build the team. Dispo is obviously very good. Topo is very good as long as he's got his intro up in base. And then obviously God Topo is tremendous. So I felt like the teams, you know, the UI Goku team is certainly better, but like both teams are very impressive for sure. Now, the fight we're doing here, this is a rather new Supreme Magnificent Battle Gohan and Piccolo fight is what this is. The Universe's Rival Saga Supreme Magnificent Battle, I mean, there's a lot of different a lot of different fights. They're pretty tough right away. What's funny is the one fight that doesn't hit super hard right away is actually the hardest fight of them, which is the Goku and Frieza one. All the other ones, I guess the UI Goku fight, which is going to be the second run we do in here, also doesn't really hit that hard at the start. But that UI Goku does have the same mechanic that some of the bosses in the Goku and Frieza fight have, which is where he will just, you know, build up his power. So Dispo's doing his thing. Remember, Dispo gets a lot of dodges in, a lot of super attacks in. You know, he's going to be very, very effective for us. Of course, at the first opportunity we get, we are going to be doing JIREN's standby. Now, I should also mention, like I typically do in these videos, that these are not necessarily a race as much as it is more so just getting like the two teams next to each other. So we can kind of see just, you know, with our eyes what, like, you know, the two kind of like setups we could use look like. Now remember, for JIREN, I did lean very heavily into kind of like the Universe 11 characters, stuff like that. Like we got the Easy A Topo and Pride Trooper around and stuff like that. But I mean, we very easily could have just done pretty much like the same team build. Like we could have had LR Evolution Blue Vegeta on JIREN's team. You know, we could have used some of those other characters and stuff like that. But this kind of felt good. I don't know. Maybe it would have been a little bit better if we had Beast and Gogeta on the team on the left. But I mean, I don't know. It just would have felt crazy to have like Beast and Gogeta. Like poor JIREN's team, man. Like not real, because JIREN's team is, you know, all Universe's Rival Saga, whereas UI Goku, by having Entrusted Will and Realm of Gods, we could cherry pick some of the best characters from those categories. Again, Beast and Gogeta, and kind of like add them to the team as well. Now remember, we have 17 and Golden Frieza there. They are a mega elite character who pretty much just can't be killed, really. it's unless they're in like slot 1. I mean, occasionally maybe, you know, some reason might happen against like a dodge canceling boss or something like that, but typically, you know, 17 and Golden Frieza, they're just gonna sit in slot 2 or 3 and be kind of untouchable. That is really the same role Jiren is in too, although I've found myself running Jiren, 20 million by Jiren right there. I've found myself running Jiren in slot 1 a lot, or just, I mean, but I've been doing a lot of runs in the Goku and Frieza fight where there's locking and shenanigans are taking place at all times, but remember, Jiren in his standby, I mean, he very, very easily is capable of going slot 1. I mean, because if you get 5 orbs in Jiren's standby, he has 100% damage reduction, which, you know, as you guys, you know, you might be aware of this, 100% damage reduction is quite good. It's quite effective. Now, this boss right here, the Gohan and Piccolo, they actually do hit rather hard. I mean, not a shock, right? Supreme Magnificent Battle content. The bosses in here are going to be hitting, you know, very tough and stuff like that. Now, their super attack, which we're seeing on the left side, it is a Ki Blast super attack. So what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of that with the team on the right. Remember, so Jiren, we can go into his full power state, and when a super attack is aimed at him, you know, Jiren is going to get the extra 50% permanent damage. But God Topo, his first turn in God form, God mode, he actually has a 100% Ki Blast nullification. So my plan was I was probably going to put God Topo in front of wherever the super attack was, since we could just have God Topo completely tank the super, and thus just not even take any damage, you know, well, I mean, Jiren very likely would barely take any damage anyway. I mean, if it was in slot 1 and we put him in slot 1 to take advantage of the attack buff, it's kind of like we're trading, taking a little bit of damage for Jiren getting a little bit stronger, sort of. But I decided to just, you know, put Topo right there, because, I mean, one of the thing about these kind of like team versus team videos is we can, you know, see a lot of the, you know, the cool looking animations, sort of like side by side and stuff like that. And that's, you know, again, exactly what we're doing right here. We'll be able to actually see the Ki Blast nullification animation that Topo does have. Now, on the left team, the UI Goku team, we are going to transform into his domain. Here's Topo's beam nullification right there. Bam, just nothing. You're not doing nothing to us. So, you know, with TEQ UI Goku's domain up, that usually signifies the end of the fight in many instances. Now, obviously, in like the Goku and Frieza fight, it's a little bit different. We actually get the Hidden Potential System Additional Super for Jiren over there. Very good. I have not... my Jiren has gotten the Hidden... That was the friend Jiren. My Jiren has gotten the Hidden Potential System Additional a lot. And it's like always been the normal. I just have such bad luck with the Hidden Potential System Additionals, man. They're just always normals. It drives me nuts. So it is very nice to actually get one of those Hidden Potential System Additional Supers for Jiren there. So TEQ UI Goku will eradicate Gohan and Piccolo, right? They don't have that toxic boss mechanic of, oh, you're not doing this literal threshold of damage, well, then you're doing 0, right? They don't have anything like that, so TEQ UI Goku will go ahead and decimate them. And then over here, we'll be able to, you know, have AGL UI Goku and Jiren, you know, sort of combine to finish the fight and finish off Gohan and Piccolo. Remember that Topo and Pride Troopers, by the way, is very effective, provided that there is a Universe 11 character on the rotation. As long as they've got that, the Topo and Pride Trooper character is able to get the job done. They're not really a character I'd be super scared about using. My Topo and Pride Trooper, they do also have like 30-ish dodge. Like they're somewhere in range of having a huge amount of dodge like that. So like that can work as a pretty good little defensive ability too. We get the KO screen for TEQ UI Goku, which obviously looks so good. That was such a good decision they made to kind of because that's the essentially kind of like the promotional art for UI Goku. I think they also use it as, what is the term, like an eye catcher or something like that in Dragon Ball Super. For one of the later episodes, I think the term is like eye catcher, right? Where kind of like when they do the commercial break and then it's, you know, it comes back with like the little jingle or whatever, right? In Dragon Ball Z, it was, you know, Kid Gohan like running into Goku's arms and stuff like that, right? It's kind of like the eye catcher or whatever. I believe that was one of those, but it was just a great idea to use that shot as like the KO screen for Master UI Goku. So now we'll hop into this fight right here. This is not a fight I've done very much content on. So this is the UI Goku Supreme Magnificent Battle stage. So we have actually had multiple UI Goku Supreme Magnificent Battle stages, right? We had one during the 9th anniversary. That's what Global Dokkan actually just got that one, which is really not that challenging of a fight. I think all the phases of Goku in that fight just don't do enough damage. This fight probably also should have been a little harder, because I think that the Evolution Blue Vegeta and Blue Kaioken Goku stage is harder than this stage right here, right? So this Goku doesn't hit that hard, this Goku. His damage is only at like 1.4 million, but his numbers are a bit deceiving. He does more damage than that even turn 1, because he does have the ability, both the Goku and Frieza fight and this UI Goku fight have the same ability, which is that every single turn that passes, they're getting extra attack. And it really does factor in for these bosses to start to hit really hard. So Goku gets 10% attack with every turn that goes by, and this Goku does have 130 million HP, and his super attack effect, he gets 50% defense. So the point is that you're in this phase for a little while against this STR UI Goku, and he's just getting stronger and stronger as the turns are going on. That's kind of like the point of this UI Goku. His defense goes up as well. So it's like the shown numbers that you see, which is 500k attack, 500k defense, and 1.4 million super attack damage. It's all actually higher because he's getting these, start of turn extra buffs as well. So with that, sometimes this UI Goku, I mean, he could kind of hang around there for a little bit because of that, right? So, we could see him start to do more damage towards the end. I still would probably say that this guy should have been a little harder, though. I mean, especially considering the Goku and Frieza fight does have 4 phases, so it is a fight you could, conceivably build up in and stuff like that. I mean, the second phase has locking, the third phase has a 3 million super with dodge canceling, so it doesn't feel like you could easily build up in there, but you could. But I think that this UI Goku could have had extra damage. And, I mean, if people would say, like, no, don't make the fights even harder and stuff like that, I mean, remember, I challenge myself by not using items. I never use items. We're not, like, typically celebrations, the final missions I do, I'll look it up, and it's like, use a support memory or use an item or something like that. I just am never using items, always challenging myself to use the items. Even lately, a lot of times with, like, these missions, it's like, oh, beat it with like 4 accelerated battle characters, and like, but I decided to do a full accelerated battle team, right? Like I'm challenging myself like that, but you guys shouldn't feel the need to do that. Beat it, and then you can kind of challenge yourself after it, right? Items are there to be used. You could use items. You could use support memories. I mean, these fights are really tough, but once you start using items, they're a joke. Especially because right now, our characters are stronger than the bosses. And that even applies to the Goku and Frieza fight. Beast, at the end, when Goku and Frieza are under 50% HP, like, even Beast could take damage from them, right? Like, most characters could get killed, could get annihilated, stuff like that is true. But Beast completely dominates and decimates that fight. Like, it's just like, with the character, and like Gogeta, right? Goku and Frieza can't hit Gogeta, like, if you're gonna pop his active and stuff like that. Like stuff just gets very, very, very nuts. Our characters are so busted. So once you add items to the mix, there's just not very much bosses can do. Even if you have, 55% characters and stuff like that, it's just, like, our characters with these Team Protector abilities and these craziness, there's just not a lot the bosses can do. So here we are. We're gonna looks like we're gonna wrap up UI Goku right here on turn 3. By the way, I should note we were able to get Evolution Blue Vegeta's 5 hits in to get his revive immediately on turn 1. That's very rare for me. Oftentimes I have huge difficulties getting that. I think when I have kind of fallen off the opinion that he has an easy revive, man. I don't know. I just never tend to be able to get it. But I think one thing that people forget about is it's not even just 5 hits. It's get hit 5 times, and then it's 2 turns after that you could actually use the revive. It's not like Vegeta's revive triggers once he gets hit the 5th time. It's he gets hit the 5th time and then on his next turn, right? Like, that's a huge part of it, which I feel like a lot of people kind of overlook. So it's like turn 1, he doesn't get hit 5 times, and then all of a sudden you can't use the revive until turn 5, right? Like, it's not, unfortunately, it's just not an easy, I feel like I've just completely backtracked off of that. I don't think it's an easy condition, getting hit 5 times, even though Vegeta, at least as a character, who can be put, like, in slot 1 pretty safely on his first turn. Like, you know, any ridiculous, ludicrous boss turn 1 cannot kill Evolution Blue Vegeta when he's guarding with his damage reduction, right? It's not happening. So that's at least good. Because it's like some characters now, like Orange Piccolo at this point, you know, I mean, what are we, 15 months after his release, you know, something like that? No, more like, yeah, we're more like 19 months after Orange Piccolo's come out. So, you know, many difficult metas and stuff like that. We're at the point where Orange Piccolo could start, you know, right away, before he needs to build up by getting hit. Like, if you put him in slot 1 and one of these bigger bosses supers right away instantly, like, even Orange Piccolo could get clapped up, right? Because these bosses now are super, you know, some of them super for 2.5 million turn 1. Cell Max, and then the Blue Cow King Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta stage. So, Vegeta being unkillable turn 1, essentially, is really impressive, obviously. Very, very good. Now, just continuing on, here's the thing about this UI Goku fight. We actually are going to see this occur on the Jiren side of things. We're actually going to see it. But in this fight, what is going to happen? Now, I believe I used Jiren's standby here. I transformed into full power. My thinking was that STR UI Goku is going to super attack me right away, and we would build up a little bit of extra damage for Jiren. By the way, I did the Jiren runs first, then I did the UI Goku runs after. I think the first run, the Gohan and Piccolo run, I set my time record with Gohan and Piccolo, and then I beat the time record with the UI Goku team when I did it the second time. Like both of them had the new record displayed in the footage, right? But I thought UI Goku would super here. Obviously, we get a scouter immediately after we transform. I saw that he didn't, but that's the reason I transformed. In these team versus videos, I try not to reset the app, so once I make a decision, I just stick with it. In these videos, it's not a race, but I mean, I don't want like one team to fall super far behind if it's unnecessary. So I did keep that, but of course we could have, you know, saved his transformation until we get to this UI Goku. Now, I believe we see it not this turn, but the turn afterwards. This UI Goku is unique in that he can double super, but he has a 0 cooldown. So this is the second, the first time I ever did this fight, we saw it. I believe I might have had like Gogeta's active up or something like that, but we double dodged it. But UI Goku, he can super back-to-back actions. I don't think like a big boss like this has not been able to do that before. I think though, like sometimes revive shenanigans or some shit like that could play into like goofiness like that occurring. But like just the boss being able to just do it themselves, I believe this is the first one. Because typically, some of the scarier bosses that could double super, you know, they'll usually have a very small cooldown, right? Like 4 attacks or 3 attacks or something like that. But this UI Goku, his cooldown is 0. So he literally can back-to-back super attack, which we do see in a little bit against Jiren. And then his super attack damage, by the way, is 2.7 million. But he doesn't have any mechanics of build-up or anything like that, this mastered UI Goku right here. So he is just supering for 2.7 million damage. That's the number that he's at. So we have God Topo out. We did his Hakai. So God Topo obviously is going to have guaranteed crits for the rest of the fight. Standby Jiren is going to give us the extra damage, and he, of course, is going to be, you know, basically untouchable. The UI Goku team is going to be done with the fight now. Once you know, you get into Mastered UI, unless they have a damage threshold mechanic, like Mastered UI is going to just finish the fight, typically, right? Or other shenanigans happen. It's pretty much just the Goku and Frieza fight where it doesn't happen. By the way, I think that the mechanic that Jiren gets damage from being supered is kind of shitty. There we go. Okay, so he double supers right there. Wow, okay. So it actually happens multiple times. It happens back-to-back turns then. Because next turn, the other Jiren gets double supered in slot 2. So back-to-back turns, UI Goku on the Jiren side of things, double supers in slot 2. Back-to-back turns it happens. That's so crazy. That's so crazy to think about. Wow, okay. Yeah, but the back-to-back supers are nuts. But I think that Jiren ability would be way more impactful if it was something that was up at all times, right? Because Jiren is a character that has to transform twice. Like, I don't really know what they were thinking. I mean, the point of it is you have him turn 1 against Goku and Frieza. He tanks their super. When they're just supering for 3 million, he'll eat it easily. And then he, you know, they attack debuff, but then Jiren gets more damage than their attack debuff would be for and stuff like that. But I still think it's just a horrible ability on Jiren. It's an ability you barely get a chance to use. Because most of these fights, too, don't really last too long. I mean, I dropped down some of the kind of, like, superstar options off of the Jiren team, right? To just, you know, use, like, Dispo instead of, like, Evolution Blue Vegeta. I'm using, like, Topo and Pride Troopers instead of, like, you know, like, Team Universe 7 or something like that, right? So the fight cost, it makes it go on a little bit longer, especially because, I mean, you see the TEQ UI Goku has finished things off, and we do still have a few turns left over here. So here's Jiren. By the way, we saw that right there. The little symbol popped up. This UI Goku does have a 10% chance to dodge, and Jiren, I believe it's when he's at 24 key, has guaranteed to hit. So Jiren gets supered here. Now remember, this is not his first turn, so he has a little bit less damage reduction. He still eats it really well, though. That's a 2.7 million super type disadvantage. Remember, Jiren is not class disadvantage, though. Jiren and UI Goku are both super class characters, but he is still type disadvantage, so we double eat that super. I mean, we do get 100% extra damage, which is certainly cool. I'll definitely take that. The extra 100% damage right there, but we might not even get a chance to use it, though. That's the thing. Dispo scared me so much right there. Remember, Dispo, the way he works, he can get hit once. And then after, like, he loses a lot of defense after he gets hit the first time. So it's like Dispo, you know, you could kind of get hit one time, but that's it. So a lot of times, you know, if Dispo decides not to get his super attacks, a lot of times you're in kind of trouble. Because if Dispo doesn't get his supers, he's not building up his dodge chance. And, I mean, you know, he starts to get hit, and then he can fold. I mean, unfortunately, Dispo is a really good banner unit. But, I mean, he does, at a lot of times, you know, he is just dodge or die. And then another turn, by the way. So that's 3 consecutive turns where UI Goku... No, he's only supering once in slot 2. Okay. I was going to say, that would be so crazy. 3 consecutive turns where he double supers in slot 2. Could you imagine how nuts that would be? But that's not. He's only supering once. Now, again, this UI Goku, his cooldown is 0. His super attack rate is only 15%, though. Okay. So, I guess that is a little bit lower. Like, STR UI Goku, for example, is 19%. I think it's pretty common for a lot of bosses to be in the 20%-ish. So, this UI Goku does have a little bit of a lower super attack rate. So, I guess it's kind of set up for him to do what we see him do every turn, which is super attack a lot in slot 2. Now, the friend Jiren here, notice his attack is a lot less. But the friend Jiren, this is his first turn in transformed mode. So we're actually able to eat this super right here for double digits. Because it's Jiren's first turn where he has the extra damage reduction. Plus support from Topo and Pride Troopers as well. Remember, the Topo and Pride Trooper character does give support. So there we go. There is the team versus team. Both TEQ LR, DOKKANFEST, TEQ LR UI Goku, and CARNIVAL LR AGL Jiren are amazing, incredible, fantastic releases. I think Dokkan did just a super duper job with both LRs. And I don't think neither will be power crept anytime soon. I mean, at least not until the 10th anniversary. I don't think so. Unlike last year where Super Saiyan 4 Goku is power crept immediately with Worldwide. and then Omega just literally was never even had a shot really, even from the start. We should not have a repeat of that this year. Jiren and UI Goku should be very dominant in whatever content the Worldwide Download Celebration might bring. So let me know what you guys think. UI Goku team and the Jiren team. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.